This is an interview on how Adam went from 10K-ish a month to over $66,000 last month. He's been growing incredibly and how he's been able to do that through the tactics that we are talking about. We're going to dive into the content side, the DM side, KPIs, all of that. He's an ecom agency owner. He primarily operates on X and LinkedIn, two fantastic platforms. He also has an email list and he has a YouTube channel as well. So we dive into the tactics. This isn't just like Jason's great interview. It is a super helpful interview about anyone who wants to learn this sort of game and the results that you can, can expect if you put in the work. So I appreciate you guys watching. Let's jump in. I'm not good at these intros, but I'm excited to chat with you, man. We connected. I remember, like, I sent you the message the other day. I think it was like maybe a year or 2 years ago. You sent me a message
Yeah,
about a podcast. And I like posted your DM because it was just
yeah,
such a good DM. That's how we got connected. And I remember maybe a year or so after you said, like, how can we work together? And I don't know, I think you just signed up pretty much right away. We got on a call. And I was just telling this story for everyone watching before the call of how 2 weeks in, Adam sent me a voice note and it was 6 minutes long. And like, there's no good voice note that is 6 minutes long. Like, that is never going to be a good thing. And it wasn't like you were kind of stressed out. You wanted to, get things growing and like moving a lot quicker. So, firstly, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Tell us kind of like what you do, how you got started with this, and we'll go from there, man.
yeah. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. So, to give you some background information, I make ad creatives for ecom brands, 7 to 9 figure ecom brands. So we work with a range of different um, niches, and we're just making that ad creatives, primarily focusing on meta ads. So, got started with this towards the end of 2022. Is when I bought an Imam Ghazi course, just like everyone else my
Yeah.
age, and kind of started with that agency. Um, And the way that I got started with you, I think I followed you when I was fresh on Money Twitter. So
Yeah.
I just came across Twitter. I found all these guys posting tactics about growing agencies, about growing ecom, and I was like indulging it. And then you
Yeah.
were one of the main profiles I was following because of all the source you were posting about growing agencies. I think I've reached out to you, and we kind of got chatting for a bit. And then I ended up asking you to help me grow my agency when I was just looking for some extra guidance on scaling.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Like I always like looking back on that is I think you started and you things moved quite quickly, right? Like so you went from kind of starting and you had like a couple, tough months and then you just had some good success. And so on the back of starting with us, you were doing quite well. You were in the like what, 8 to 15K a month kind of range around then?
Yeah, yeah. So I left my 9 to 5 middle of last year,
Yep.
and I kind of got the business to 10K a month before I left the 9 to 5.
Mm,
And then once I left the 9 to 5, I found myself with a lot of time, like obviously 8 hours more a day to work on the business.
yeah.
However, I wasn't sure on the strategies and stuff like that. So kind of went up and down for the next few months or so. And then I think it might have been October time. So
Mm.
maybe a few months after leaving my 9 to 5 that I came to you. So I was kind of floating between 10K and 15K a month.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you said that you like got some momentum and you wanted to put the foot on the throat really and grow it, which I think is the perfect place to like come into something. But like 2 weeks in, as we said, we got that 6 minute voice message. And I remember just like getting it. I was like, fuck, like what's, this is not going to be good. And it wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't anything like, against us. It was just the case like you really wanted to put the foot down. And my
Yeah,
response, I remember the main thing I said was like, you've got to ask yourself, like, who the fuck has my money? That was
yeah,
the first
yeah,
thing. And
yeah.
that was like, honestly, I could have summed up my whole message just saying that.
Yeah,
And then you came back to me, maybe it was the next day or the day after, you're like, ah, cool, Jason,
yeah.
we
I think
just
it's the
closed.
next day.
Yeah, next day it was like 6K. And then there was another deal and another deal. And so I think that like that execution was just so quick. Like, what kind of were you doing to get those deals quite quickly like that?
Yeah, so I think the main thing that I could say to summarize it was when I before coming to you, I didn't feel like I had my non-negotiable set in my business.
Hmm.
I was maybe unsure on strategy a little bit, and needed that thing that was going to take me from 10K to 30K a month, 50K a month, because the things that I was doing to get to 10K weren't the same things that were going to get me to that next level.
Yeah.
So I was kind of just lacking that strategy a little bit. And I remember I sent that voice note was pretty much because I was terrified that I wasn't going to get some more deals because it was coming towards the end of the month
Yeah.
and maybe I had a lower month than the month before. And I was like, I'm putting the work in. So it's like not like I was procrastinating. I was actually like working really hard, but
Mm.
just wasn't seeing the results. So it was obviously the direction and what I was actually focusing on.
Yeah.
And then yeah, you told me who's got my money. That was something. So checking out my CRM and just uh, spending time in that each day, figuring out who is the hottest lead out of there. And I think the second biggest thing, arguably just as important, was actually tracking KPIs.
Yeah.
It's like turn
Yeah.
me from someone who's basically a freelancer or just doing it for fun to someone who's actually running a business and giving you something that you can scale with.
Yeah, it's so freaking true and so important. Like I say, there's two kind of quotes. Is the one is like, there's no shame in not hitting your goals, just not knowing why. That's the problem. And so the numbers are why. And if you're not tracking, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. Because otherwise,
Yeah,
how can you improve? How can you actually know like where you're going? And I
100%.
think that as soon as you did that, like it could probably summarize a lot of what we did together was just like you were tracking. Now you guys like create these crazy spreadsheets where everything is tracked, right? Like your
Yeah,
Twitter
yeah, yeah.
numbers, all of it, it's tracked. And so, what were some of the main things that you were tracking? Like, what was the focus on that?
Yeah, so I think the main things was kind of my inputs, and it kind of shifted my mindset on everything, to be honest, because I went from tracking outputs to actually tracking inputs. So,
Yeah.
and this goes across service delivery, it goes across personal life, like getting clients, it's literally everything. So it's improved the way I look at a lot of things. So the inputs that I started tracking were things like Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, newsletter.
Hmm.
You've got to hit X amount per day. Then also replies was something when I was trying to grow more on Twitter. Replies is something that is underestimated by pretty much everyone, but it's
Everyone, yeah.
probably like 50% of the work when you're trying to grow on Twitter. Warm DMs to like leads who have messaged me, follow-ups, book calls, just well, not really book calls, that's more of an output, but
Mhm.
just everything that I was doing, just tracking that. And I think the main thing that did for me was, and anyone kind of starting out, it doesn't matter what you're doing, but if you just track it, you can figure out if it's working or not, and then you can optimize from there
Yeah.
rather than just doing stuff and then just keep doing stuff and you're just keeping it all in your head. You're not sure what's actually working and what's not working.
Yeah, 100%. It's interesting because we were building like our app, like KPI tracker, and we were super excited about it because we knew like people like yourself and others would use it. There's whole other things where we're rebuilding it and we're almost done. But it's a case where we found that when a lot of people started using it, is they gave up quite quickly because they just got annoyed at tracking or it was too slow or too manual or whatever it is. And so we've solved that a little bit with the app. But the thing is that most people are not buying the app because they're just not doing that activity. And like
Yeah,
it makes all the difference in the world is just being able to like we have data back to 2019, I think it is, knowing like how many we found that if we post over 38 posts on Facebook, our revenue increases by 30K. And I know it's like
yeah,
maybe it's arbitrary, maybe it's time of the year, whatever it is, but that's the sweet spot. And so
yeah,
anytime I get lazy on Facebook specifically is when sales drop. And it's just so like good to be able to see
yeah,
that because you know the inputs that you can generate to get the outputs. Sometimes it's not as
yeah,
clear as that, but if you're just tracking it, like it makes all the difference. And on shitty days where you don't feel comfortable, like I'm sure you've had plenty of those, you still hit your numbers and at least you're moving the needle,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And also, it gives you more control over your business. So
Yeah.
over the past couple months, we've signed like tons of huge clients and getting had like 30 book calls last month, which is quite a lot for an agency of our size.
Oh wow,
And this,
I didn't even know that. That's crazy. That's a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And the thing is, this month I've kind of slowed down a little bit because we're trying to fix systems. We're trying to make sure everything's running smoothly, hiring, and make sure the team are getting trained and everything like that. So I've took like not took my foot off the gas a little bit, but I've just slowed down because I don't want so many book calls, and then I know
Yeah.
that I can just ramp it back up when I'm ready.
Yeah,
So
see
it's
that.
given me a bit more control there, which I've never had.
I just can't tell you. Like, I think that some people want that feeling and, they crave it. I can't tell you how good that feels. Like, that is the best feeling in the world. It's like, it's sometimes, it's almost a bad thing because sometimes I'm like, I will like take so long a time off just because I
Mhm.
know the deeper I get in the hole, I just want to fight harder. Like, it's this weird thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's like, well, I can do it. So let's see how hard I
yeah,
can make it. And yeah, okay, that's like silly to do, but it's the best feeling because now, and you said it, like your business partners with your brother, and you said it to him is like, man, we could just make more deals. Like, quit your job.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just get more deals. And I think that that's the coolest skill. Like, I guess how long was there a revenue mark that allowed you to have that feeling, or was it like what allowed you to get that feeling, I guess?
Yeah, so it's more so seeing the results. I mean, we had a good revenue month last month. It was around 66K
Mhm.
US dollars. Um, which is good. I mean, it's just still kind of still just getting started, it feels.
Yeah.
But more so the confidence comes from, seeing us put the inputs in and getting the output.
Mhm.
So we just know, okay, we're gonna like I said I took my foot off the gas, I'm still hitting all KPIs. I'm just a little bit less kind of manual outreach.
Yep.
So still hitting all my KPIs, but I know I can just put my foot on the gas and start getting book calls, which is yeah, it's a great feeling.
Great feeling. Yeah, that's awesome. So 66K last month from yeah, like 10 to 15.
Yeah, 10,
Yeah.
15K.
Freaking crazy, right? And now you want to like keep I think that the first goal was 30K. I remember
Yeah,
like
I
you were
think so,
like
yeah.
almost pissed off when you hit it. I think you hit it like in December or something, really
Yeah,
quick.
well, yeah, these goals are getting forgotten about now, to be honest,
Yeah.
because me and my brother Ryan, we don't really talk about it. We're
Mm.
just like, oh, we just hit our goal that we had when we first started business. We're
Yeah.
like, okay, we already want the next goal. So it's
Yeah.
100K a month, and now we're starting to set goals of how much we want to pay each other.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's got very enjoyable
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. It's
after
so
a
good.
couple of years of hardship.
Yeah, yeah, it's worth it, man. And I mean, the best thing is like the conversation we had a couple weeks ago where I said like pay yourselves like what you want, and I think that that's
Yeah,
the coolest thing is like now you can actually feel like you're getting paid as well.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just an incredible journey. Cool. All right. Well, enough of we talked a little bit about it, but we'll talk. Let's get more tactical because I think I want to make this like valuable, not just talk about how good I am. Right? Is that let's talk. So we originally you were on X and LinkedIn. And so is that still the main like acquisition channel or did you add others?
yeah. So X was my primary source of leads for pretty much the first 6 months or probably even longer. That was a primary source. Um, Maybe when I joined, started working with you, I added in LinkedIn, and then I started being more consistent on YouTube, and
Yep.
also added my newsletter as well. So they're the four main kind of sources, and then my newsletter is more for nurturing leads as well.
Yeah.
So they're the four main sources, yeah.
Perfect. And something I always say, right? It's so you've got, your two short form platforms that are discoverable, so the X and LinkedIn, and there is also DMs with that, and then you've got your two long form email and YouTube. And I think
Mhm.
that a lot of people would say, and I use actually another client who's in Bangkok, Tom. Have you met Tom?
I don't think so.
You got it. He's in Thailand at the moment, actually. So and he's from the UK, and so he
Crazy.
um I always show your YouTube channel and his YouTube channel, not just because you're both in Thailand, but because he's some of his videos get like under 80 views. And he still will sign a client from every single video. Your videos do a little bit better, but it's because you're talking on the specific pain points, the specific topics. Like,
Yeah.
I guess how do you come up with the YouTube ideas? And then two, how do you deal with whether it might be low views or like how do you deal with that?
Yeah, so honestly, I think the low views thing is just a common misconception for all of the guys who are just starting out. because you're comparing yourself to like Iman or
Yeah.
Mr. Beast or the top creators in the space. When you actually think about it, 80 views, if that was a classroom of your ideal prospects, like it's
It's
perfect. Imagine
huge.
you could go to yeah, imagine you could go to a local theater or cinema or whatever and do a speech to 80 of your ideal leads. It'd be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's kind of something you have to ignore. Even if you're getting 100 views, you just got to keep going. And that's something that's been so important for me, and probably one of the main reasons that I've actually done well or relatively well is just consistency on all platforms and don't really look at the results. Obviously optimize what's doing well, but just staying consistent. And
Yeah.
in terms of where I get content ideas from, um, one of the biggest things is just listening to customers. So one thing I do is scrape all my sales calls, put it into ChatGPT and figure out pain points,
So good.
objections, and all that kind of stuff. And then you can also just look at the top people in niche of your niche. And then, for example, I do ad creatives for ecom brands. I could look at cold email agencies, um, maybe email marketing for ecom agencies, and figure out what's going viral in those niches and try and replicate that with me as
Yeah.
well. But to be honest, I don't put too much focus on YouTube. Um, but I'm starting to put more focus into it now because I know it's such a good platform.
Yeah, no, that's just the best way to put it. I mean, I tell the story. Like for our recent challenge, we got 1,400 people who registered, and I don't know. At times, I was disappointed, and there were, I had to upgrade my Zoom because there were like hundreds of people on the Zoom. My first ever one, 20 people registered, and I said to my brother, I was like,
Yeah.
man, like that would fill our whole apartment. Like that's crazy, and
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I was excited about it, and I think that you should never lose that, no matter how big you get or whatever. Is that you know 20 people are 20 people. And
Yeah,
yeah, okay, like you could have 10 bots or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. Like as long as you keep producing the content, optimize for what works, you're gonna win. And you're
100%.
creating like stuff for your customers that is helpful. So yeah, that's the
100%,
best way to
yeah.
do it. I
Like
like it.
even if only the people who book a call with you watch the videos, it's still a net positive, not net positive to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, I like it, man. Cool. So produce content on X and LinkedIn. One thing I do want to talk about that I think that you do a really good job of is it's funny because you kept saying it to me over and over. It's like, I want to go higher quality clients, like bigger, better quality clients. And it kind of just kept stepping up. What is the difference between, I guess, the 10K a month version of you in terms of content versus now, 60K plus, and then attracting those higher level clients? Do you now is it nerdier content? Is it like, what is the content difference, I guess?
Yeah, so I'd say um, the content difference is it sounds funny, but it's kind of I've got more efficient at writing the content. So when I start my days, I have my routine, and the first thing I do is write my content. And getting more efficient in that at writing the content, um, and getting that basically out of the way has given me the ability to focus on other things later in the day.
Yeah.
So one thing is getting quicker, and then other than that is more so instead of writing content that is just what I want to do, I try and look at the objections and the things from sales calls and
Yeah.
pull ideas from that really,
Yeah. It's the
rather than just
best way
doing
to
what's
do it.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is I've been for so it's so funny is one of the because I have a client or a prospect right now who's an agency owner, and so this interview is perfectly timed because they're looking at the similar thing, and I'm just like, that's kind of how I think about content though, is that if someone becomes a prospect or a lead or anything like that, is I'm like, okay, well, let's narrow in on that person and just
Yeah.
produce content that will sell them. And so like this interview, for an example, they'll watch this before a call and they'll be like, ah, cool, I want to work with them. Maybe they're watching this section right now. But I think that
100%.
that's such a good way to do it is you're producing, I always say you're producing from the client rather than to them
Yeah.
because producing to them is stuff that like Dan Coe or Eman and people like that do because they have this bigger authority. And it's really difficult for like us to do that. So let's produce
Mhm.
for them and from them. So that's a perfect way to do it.
100%.
And you have the knowledge. One thing I do want to harp on is like, how did you learn to deliver for clients? Because you get great results for your clients. And I've heard you on sales calls. They're just like, you're saying all of this stuff. I'm like, man, I didn't know that stuff. Like, how did you build up this knowledge? And what do you do to continue to develop it as well?
Well, yeah, I think content's huge for that because obviously if you're creating content, you've got to be creating cutting edge content. You can't be creating, like average ta tactics or tips, or it's got to be the most latest and up to date stuff. So creating content is something that keeps me up to date with basically everything with ad creatives and e-commerce as well. And then also my brother, he's kind of, we call it the internal revenue generator, and then
Yeah,
I'm
I love that.
external revenue generator. And
Yeah.
you kind of helped us with that a little bit as well,
Yep.
defining roles.
Mhm.
And that's been absolutely huge. And he basically leads a team, does client communication, operations. I help out with operations a little bit still, but that allows him to become a specialist at running the actual agency and making sure the clients get the best service possible. But as well as that, just listening to podcasts, staying up to date, reading books, all that kind of stuff. I still try and do it as now as much as I did when I was starting out.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the biggest thing that people forget is like it's not a one and done thing. Like mindset as well. You're constantly having to work on that, upgrade and continue because these new levels are just like, it's kind of mind blowing. So at
Yeah.
times you're just like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You've got to, and I know we've had this conversation before, but the more you make, the more paranoid you get, and the hungrier you get to
Hmm.
make even more. And it's like it's a nice feeling in a way, but yeah, it just makes you more hungry to make more, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Yeah, there's just like it's the next level and the next. It just yeah keeps going. I think that's the good. Like people say though that that's like just money hungry or greed, but it's like not even just about the money because sometimes, like we talked about it, like the more your business grows, you actually directly yourself don't benefit sometimes because you're not paying yourself more or the profit shares or whatever it is. But it's just like getting to the next level and pushing and seeing how far you can go. But that's the game rather than, playing video games or something. I don't know. That's people do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Much more
Yeah.
productive game. Cool. No, I've enjoyed this, man. I've enjoyed this. So for the future, like what's some of the I know you said like goals aren't the big thing right now, but like what's the plan? Let's just say in the next 12 months. What do you guys want to be doing? Serving, releasing anything? Like what's that look like?
Yeah, so right now we're trying to lift the quality of everything. So we're getting a new website, new lead magnets, just making sure
Yeah,
everything looks
perfect.
clean on sales and marketing side, trying to build a funnel out, so get loads of different aspects of sales and marketing, such as like new sales channels, potentially introducing Instagram. I've got an appointment setter now, potentially adding in digital products, maybe some SaaS or info products. So trying to build out a full funnel and system on the sales and marketing side. Also, exactly the same on service delivery and operations, just trying to make things more efficient, upskill our team, grow everything there. In terms of what we're trying to do at the minute, we're just trying to basically make all of our clients pay us more, so increase the LTV of all of our clients, um, and get them on higher deals, so taking on bigger clients. And yeah, really just trying to scale it at the minute. That's the biggest goal. We want to hit in the next 12 months, probably 250K is the goal
Yep.
for that. And yeah, just go from there.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like it. Yeah, it's just like crazy. That's like the standard. I think that we even said it. It's just like it's not even that it's a goal, it's like the foregone conclusion because you know how to work through it. The thing is like at this level, you have a couple choices, right? You can do what you're gonna do and like diversify. You could even just double the output and you would still be increasing, right? Because I think that you just know everything that you need to do to grow, which is
Yeah.
like again, it's a cool feeling because you can have a bad month, but be like, all right, cool, we can fix it. So I guess like actually let us into that. Like, how does that feel, compared to that 10K a month version? Like, how do you feel now? Like, what's
Yeah.
what's that what's that feeling?
Completely, it's crazy because I remember when I first came to you, I was kind of, it's like I'm here, I'm ready to do the work, but tell me what to do.
Hmm.
Basically, tell me how high to jump, and I'll jump. I
Yep.
was just wanted to know what to do specifically.
Yeah.
Completely to be honest, like thinking I know it's 10K a month, but it's not a lot of money at all for a business. So you're worrying about is this even going to work? Like, am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right vehicle? So yeah, just kind of not knowing what direction to go in next. Whereas now I know I've got basically a roadmap ahead of me. I just kind of spoke about my goals, kind of spitballed,
Hmm.
but back then I had no ideas. I didn't know which direction to go in next. Now I've kind of got a roadmap, the steps I want to go, and I know that it's not a case of will it work for me. It's just I've got to focus on myself, keep following these like goals that I set myself, and focus on the inputs, and then I'll get to where I want to go.
Yeah, 100%. That's the perfect way to look at it. It's just, yeah, it's still, it sometimes is that everyone like focuses on the goal. When you actually hit it, it's just like, okay, and
Yeah,
then you
man.
move on.
Yeah.
Like it's
I,
so
I
fleeting.
don't even think about it, and it's hilarious because you put it on such a pedestal when you
Oh,
started out, and then
yeah,
now it's happening. It's like I don't even care about the goal. I just want to get better results for my clients, and then and just keep getting more book calls. It's just
yeah.
it changes.
It's the love of the game. It's the love of the game.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking love it. Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you jumping on with this. I hope this was helpful for some people, or at least inspire some people as well, because you're now like you're in, well, we were just talking about it. Like you're going to be living in Thailand almost full time. You're traveling. I guess, you're seeing the sun a lot more than you were last
yeah,
year.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
freaking awesome, man. And you're doing it with your brother. Are you guys in the same apartment or are you in two different places?
Yeah. So we've been together. We're not together at the minute, but we
Yep.
we spent a couple months together. We went traveling around Thailand for a while. We're
Mm.
going to Dubai at the end of this month. So yeah, sticking together. We're not in the same apartment at the minute, but we're
Yeah.
we're in the same city.
Yeah. It's a beautiful apartment, it looks like. Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you doing this. I think that you are a testament to also like hard work. You guys earned every bit of it. Like the who the fuck has my money conversation wasn't just you just went out there and attacked. And I think that that's awesome. And I'm super happy that we got to work together and appreciate you doing this, man. Thank you.
Yeah, me too. I appreciate it as well. Definitely a huge a big moment working with you, a pivotal moment where we completely not changed what we were doing, but it just gave us that strategy to get us to that next level. And I said to you and Chris before, definitely wouldn't have been able to do it without you. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you saying that. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll drop Adam's information below. You can follow on. Actually, I would definitely recommend because one, his content is you'll learn something. I like read all of your posts and the graphics. You'll learn
Yeah.
something, and also you'll just see how like someone operates and does things in a way that's allowed him to scale. So I'll drop that below. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.